Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And once again, thank you for your leadership in bringing these subjects up for hearing. Mr. Pummel, I'd like to ask you a few questions. Both Secretary Gibson in his letter to the chairman on October 20th and Chief of Staff Neighbors in response to the IG's recommendations committed to completing proposed accountability actions by October 31st, Saturday. Now that this deadline is passed, what, if any, accountability actions have been taken?
Congressman, besides the freezing of the AVO program, a complete relook of all incentives and moves inside of not just VBA but VA, the DEP Secretary, who's responsible for all SCS, I guess you would say punishment and enforcement inside of VA, delivered proposed actions to both Ms. Graves and Ms. Rubens on October 30, I believe it was on October 31st. They're under the new process, the Accountability Act. They're under the appeal time frame right now. As soon as that appeal time frame, I believe the first part is 7 days, and then there's an additional 5 days to the Merit Board, are complete, then he will release what that proposed punishment is.
Okay, thank you. Now, at the committee's hearing in April, you stated that Ms. Rubens received the AVO program benefit because the position was tough to fill, quote unquote. Is that correct? Or were those your words?
Yes, that's correct, Congressman.
And as we know, OPM policies restrict the use of relocation incentives for hard-to-fill jobs. However, at the committee's hearing last month, the Inspector General concluded that the position was never advertised. So my question is, how was Ms. Rubens eligible for these incentives if the VA never tried to fill it?
The office in Philly is one of our larger regional offices. It's a very complex office. It has multiple lines of business. It's not just a claims office. They have a pension center there, an insurance center. There's a lot going on, and we've had a history of problems in that office that we've been trying to work through. We wanted somebody in that office that could not only do the claims but the other lines of businesses, but could also work with the local legislators, elected officials in the area, the unions. There was a union issue there, the employees, and the veterans and the veteran service organizations. We felt that Ms. Rubens had all those attributes. She was probably our most experienced person in claims in all of VBA. I think I testified that that was our roughest, toughest RO at the time. We wanted our best person there.
So you didn't advertise the position, you didn't interview anyone else, you just determined she was the one, and that it was tough to fill and needed the incentives, all at the same, as one decision?
Yes, Congressman.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, well, let's talk about Baltimore. We were told that 131 people applied for the Baltimore RO job, that when that one was advertised. Why were none of them considered for the position?
Same set of circumstances, Congressman. When we're looking at filling an RO, every RO is different. Every RO has their own set of problems. Antoine in Minnesota had done a very, very good job. He was very aggressive with the handling union problems. He was good at working with the legislators and working with the local VSOs. Baltimore had a history of problem after problem after problem, and nothing we seemed to do seemed to be able to fix it. Moving Antoine there was the right call. He's dramatically improved production in almost every aspect in Baltimore since he's been there. It's kind of like if you want to replace an infantry commander at Fort Riley, Kansas, you don't go out and look at a bunch of applicants. You look and say, who's my best infantry colonel or general promotable that I can put into that position? Antoine was the person in that case.
If you could go back in time, would you still have signed off on all the moves highlighted in the Inspector General's report?
If I could go back in time, I still would have made all the moves, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.